Do you know what I love more than anything else about the original Star Fox game for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System? It's when Peppy Hair fucking explodes and dies. But wait, you say, Peppy Hair doesn't fucking explode and die. He's still around in the sequel. Yeah, but he could fucking explode and die. How would the characters feel about that if cartridge space wasn't an issue? I started writing this right after watching Amalia Solaris' video on what she would want out of the rumored Star Fox game. And yeah, this video took a while to get done. In the immortal words of Shigeru Miyamoto, you can't shit gold fast. Anyway, I'm not in love with every single thing Amalia proposes, but she knows and loves Star Fox, and it is a great video, so you should watch her video instead of mine. If you're intimidated by women, here's the one part you'll need to know that serves as my jumping off point. She suggests Nintendo just mash some of the Star Fox command endings together and continue the story from there. Plenty of series have done something similar, so we are doing the same thing here. The exact details don't matter so long as Fox keeps working as a mercenary. A point being, for this example, we are continuing the 64 Adventure Assault command timeline. They announced the Switch 2 remake after me writing most of the script, but the concept I'm proposing would work with the new continuity as well. You just have to shuffle some characters around. We start with a classic Star Fox mission. The team defend against an attack by... Fuck, I haven't thought of bad guys yet. The Aleatorian Armada. Hey, script editing Bennett here. I just realized that giving an invading force a name that is just two Spanish words with an N added to the middle could justifiably be read as racist in the current political climate. I just want to let you know that I chose this name because I really like the Spanish language and the word aleatoria in particular. A la mierda los racistas, trabaja y lucha por las bolas de dragón. The Aleatorians are a technologically hyper-advanced civilization that somehow no one had ever heard of. A portal to their world suddenly appeared near the Lilat system, and their forces came flooding out. I cannot decide what voice to do for this video. The portal emits an extremely strong energy signature that seems to power all of the Armada's weapons. The Cornerian army is struggling as the Aleatorians seemingly predict every one of their moves. Star Fox and other small units acting independently can successfully strike key targets such as capital ships and space stations, but they cannot keep up with the constant stream of reinforcements from the portal. We begin with a basic on-rails mission introducing the team. We get some nice moments to show off their personalities and how they have grown compared to their first appearances. Falco swoops in, annihilates a bunch of enemies in seconds, but overextends and is now being tailed by an elite Aleatorian fighter. Falco has become absurdly skilled even for his standards, but his reckless nature has not changed. A controlled burst of 3 shots from off-screen destroys the bogey. Falco opens comms with his classic, "Gee, I've been saved by... Slippy! I'll never live that down!" I'm not a voice actor. In comes a heavily modified 2-seater R-Wing. Slippy has conceded that his piloting skills do not match his skills in the bedroom, so the more talented Amanda is in control of the ship. Slippy has gotten better at analyzing enemy movement patterns and firing precise shots. My voice is gonna be all over the place, baby! Sorry now... Slippy has gotten better at analyzing enemy movement patterns and firing precise shots, so he now focuses on his roles as gunner and field analyst. Together they may not be as agile as the others, but their strong shielding and increased firepower more than make up for it. The team flies through a tunnel for some reason. Look, Nintendo's not paying me. And Crystal suddenly chimes in with a, "Everyone, hit the brakes now!" A massive Cornerian battleship crashes into the ground above, collapsing the tunnel before them, followed by a massive explosion. I used the word massive twice, followed by a very big... followed by a very big explosion that would have taken out the entire team. Crystal is a capable pilot, and her ability to foresee danger means she can easily escape most bogeys. This creates a gameplay dynamic where very few enemy pilots are skilled enough to pose any threat to her at all, but those that are able to destroy her R-Wing quickly. To balance it out, she can inform Fox that she will need help a few seconds in advance. The rest is typical Star Foxery. On-rails action followed by an all-range boss fight to establish both types of gameplay. General Peppy prepares the Conarian army for a full-scale attack on the portal, as a diversion to buy Star Fox time to slip through and destroy it. During the dramatic assault, nailed it, the main Star Fox crew and every mercenary they can find punch through the portal's defenses. The team takes heavy fire, and it's unclear if the damaged ships managed to retreat or if Lucy Hare actually fucking exploded and died. By the end, only Fox makes it to the reactor core. He immediately fires a smart bomb into it. He attempts to escape, but the imploding power source sucks his R-Wing back in. A flash of white. Fox jolts up. He's aboard the Great Fox, surrounded by his team, receiving the briefing for the opening mission I outlined earlier. Falco mocks Fox for falling asleep, but Crystal senses that something else is going on here. As everybody else is getting ready, she takes Fox aside. Fox, what's wrong? And then, a goddamn Mass Effect dialogue wheel appears, baby! The player will from now on occasionally be prompted to select Fox's answers. Most of these will affect the attitudes of the people around him, potentially changing their behavior during missions, which in turn makes certain objectives harder or easier to accomplish, which in turn can completely change the progression of the story. Fox isn't sure what happened. He doesn't consciously remember the events of the last loop. But he will be trusting his instincts. These honed instincts will be represented by the player learning and improving. Lunar narrative, Homo ludens, a gamer. The first loop begins. Characters will now react if Fox acts on information he shouldn't have yet, with every action changing things ever so slightly. Save Falco fast enough and you get his traditional G directed at Fox, followed by a "Hey, that one was ours" from the Toads. If you hit the brakes in the tunnel before Crystal warns the team, or use the command feature, more on that later, Fox will call out the impending danger instead. Crystal will be confused by Fox seemingly sensing the crash before she did. The two will later talk about the nature of these premonitions, maybe even wax philosophical about the differences between logical and instinctual decisions and their respective places in combat. Don't be afraid of exploring these characters. If Sonic the Hedgehog canonically loves adventures because he knows he will die and one of them will be his last, Fox can ask if love can bloom on a battlefield. After the mission, Fox now has the option to advise against an assault on the portal, stating that the casualties will likely be too high. If they still choose to charge right back in, they will be met with much fiercer resistance, with the Aleatorians throwing far more dangerous enemies at the team that seem purpose-built to take them out. A rough draft of one example. One type of enemy fires small magnetic bombs that attach to the R-Wings and explode after, let's say, 15 seconds. Since Crystal relies heavily on her foresight for defense, by the time she senses that her ship will blow up in 10 seconds, it will already be too late to stop it. If you've seen that Justice League movie where somebody steals Batman's contingency plans for defeating the other members, it's like that. This is the final level of the game. And the entire Star Fox team are expected to fucking explode and die. There are too many variables, too many hazards the player doesn't know all at once. If they are a brand new player, they are not intended to stand a chance. The team likely fails. Fox jolts up again, back aboard the Great Fox, back at a briefing, this time the one before the assault on the portal. To stop the player from infinitely banging their head against the, I'll admit it, Mass Effect 2 suicide mission, it plays out differently now. Since the instinctual part of Fox is more distressed this time, Crystal refuses to let the team agree to the mission. Somehow Fox's brainwave patterns, or what the fuck ever, match those of someone who knows for a fact they are headed for disaster. The Fox advised against the assault, and Fox and Friends fucking explode and die again branches converge here. The team instead decide to tackle other battlefields and Lilat and neighboring systems to collect more information while still helping the war effort. Title drop: Star Fox Divergence. Nah, that's generic. Star Fox The Split. That's too tryhard. Star Forks! This will open a mission select map. Players will be able to choose from a number of missions on neighboring planets, depending on where they currently are. Editing me here, I forgot to include the fact that you'll be able to do a full 360 degrees movement there. It's not linear anymore. You can zigzag across the systems. Yes. These missions are a mix of all range and on-rails levels, with some using other vehicles sprinkled in. After each mission, the state of war advances and the Aleatorium presence becomes more and more of a threat until the team is forced to assault the portal in a desperate attempt to stop further reinforcements from arriving by destroying their primary power source. These missions will be reusing a sensible percentage of assets, but the Day 6 on-rails mission on Corneria will have entirely different, more challenging enemy and obstacle placements than the Day 2 version, for example. Which missions even become available as the war progresses changes depending on what the player has and hasn't done, and just as importantly, which characters they have recruited. The team's operations will occasionally be interrupted by the so-called interceptors, a 4-person enemy squad of incredibly skilled pilots and highly advanced fighters. It is implied that they are roboticized versions of existing characters who fought Andros in the Lilith Wars, and even Starwolf, who would turn against them later on. More on that later. When the interceptors appear is neither random nor scripted. Instead, they will first patrol the planet the team tackled on the first day of the previous loop, and will then move day by day towards Star Fox's location. If they reach them, they will swoop in at a specified point during the mission. If it's an otherwise entirely on-rails level, there will be a new all-range section added to the second half to allow for a proper battle. Since these guys are absurdly dangerous, newer players have an incentive to try different routes each time to avoid them as much as possible. Confident pilots, on the other hand, can now challenge and remove the interceptors right away to ensure that they won't be crashing a more difficult mission later down the line. And this is entirely utopian, but how awesome would it be if the interceptors could optionally work like an invasion in Dark Souls? Have a little bonus mode from the main menu where players can enter matchmaking to take control of interceptors in somebody else's story game. Nintendo would never, but it would be so cool. Fox will be put in charge of mercenary affairs, if you will. The Cornerian army keeps the Aleatorians in check best they can, while Fox teams up with furry favorites old and new. It'll work a little bit like hit video game Hexplore, which I assume was a hit because I played it as a kid, not because its 2020 re-release has 48 reviews on Steam and spells throughout incorrectly. I don't need to tell you this, of course, with Hexplore being one of the big three and its upcoming HBO adaptation, recently revealing Abigail Thorne as Tergara, but for the one sub-25-year-old watching this, in Hexplore, your party always consists of the fixed protagonist, an archer, a warrior, and a mage. There's a few characters to pick for each role, each with slightly different stats. For a simple example, Falco is in the ace class, which is why Cat isn't getting any. Now, but for real, aces will be teammates that can quickly and reliably take out any target you point them at. This additional firepower and speed come at the cost of the durability, so in the rare cases that an enemy manages to get the upper hand on them, you better go help them out quick. Falco would have 5 points in attack, 1 point in survivability. Cat would have a more balanced 4 attack, 2 survivability. She's not as reckless as Falco, so targets won't go down as quickly, but neither will she. The second class are the supporters. They are slower and less mobile, but they offer excellent fire support at any distance, as well as provide information about boss health, available power-ups on the map, and early warnings about incoming enemy reinforcements. Slippy and Amanda get 2 points of attack and 4 points for collecting intel. Miu and Faye are back and on a single ship and probably married now, why not, and invert those stats. While they'll update the player less frequently, they'll be able to take enemies out quite a bit faster than the Toads do. Finally, every team has a tactician. These characters will give Fox tips on how to best avoid current threats and can inform him of the effects completing one objective at the cost of another will have. They themselves are well-rounded pilots, flying ships similar to Fox's, but lack the support's long-range weapons and the Ace's cojones. Crystal can warn Fox before a bogey has started tailing him, and can foresee otherwise unexpected consequences to choosing certain objectives. This would include things like unpredictable chain reactions or destruction caused by falling debris, which gives the player a chance to gauge if the collateral damage will be worth the trade-off. Lucy can't chime in until Fox is actually being chased, but will know exactly which maneuvers to perform to shake specific enemy types. She has a greater understanding of military strategy, so she can inform Fox of how vital different Aleatorian facilities and ships are to their overall war effort, allowing the player to maximize damage to the Armada. Falco, Crystal, and the Toads will be available to take on missions from the beginning. Some of the more eccentric pilots of the series, such as Dash Bowman and maybe even members of Starwolf, can be unlocked by fulfilling certain conditions during a loop. The more missions players survive, the more intel about the Armada they collect. The more they know, the better their chances will be to survive the assault on the gate. The methods for avoiding hazards and dispatching enemies aren't gated off by power-ups. They are entirely knowledge-based. That's right, this is a Metroidvania X Choose-Your-Own-Adventure X Rail Shooter X Reader game, baby. To deal with the trickier threats, players will use a new mechanic I hinted at earlier, commanding your team. Say there's a nasty capital ship barraging an all-range mission from a distance. It fires in constant bursts, entire clouds of plasma and shrapnel. Your laser fire doesn't damage it, and missiles and bombs are shot down from a distance. Its turrets track fighters too quickly to effectively flank it. To survive flying head-on into enemy fire and bomb the dreadnought from up close, you'd need someone with insane skills and massive eggs. Now, you could hold down L to enter slow motion and pick Falco, followed by Take It Out, and then selecting Smart Bomb while aiming at the ship, or you could simply yell, "Falco, get him, baby girl!" until you switch to a microphone to accomplish the same thing, and yes, I think the voice commands should be customizable. Having multiple possible characters for every slot on your team will come in handy, since you may have to, for example, dispatch Falco and Crystal to support the Cornarians during a different mission, while Cat and Lucy stick with Fox. It may also be a good idea to try and recruit Wolf as an ace early, just in case Falco fucking explodes and dies. Yeah, you heard that right. The Aleatorians do not play fair, and they will not let damaged R-Wings escape. Teammates do not die easily, but if they do, they are gone until the next reset happens. This will affect cutscenes and dialogue during and between levels, as well as change the availability of certain missions. There's this feature in Sony's Spider-Man where they recorded a bunch of dialogue twice. Depending on whether Peter is walking or spidering through the air, he'd either be talking normally or quite a bit more loudly to compensate for all the whooshing he does. I propose a 3-tiered dialogue system based on how many casualties the team has suffered. They won't just be acted out differently, they will be completely different lines for every single communication and cutscene. Tier 1. Everyone's alive. Their default quippy daredevil attitude. Falco, the big guy's all yours. I thought you'd never ask. Tier 2. 1 or 2 members have died. The team become focused and serious. Falco, priority target, dead ahead. Engaging now. Not a voice actor. Tier 3. 3 or more members have died. The team are audibly suffering emotionally. Falco. Ellipses. Copy. Now, could this be going too far? Dude, everyone Samus had ever known was murdered twice. The youngest Star Fox fan is like 25 years old. They can handle it. Fox has always been Nintendo's Sonic. Let him get edgy, let him get dark, and get fucking Dion Von Heerden to do the theme song. I'm actually begging you. You have to become the ultimate weapon. A full singular run will contain 14 missions. That's twice as many as a full playthrough of Lylat Wars does. That's Star Fox 64 if your region is rapidly descending into fascism, or Lylat Wars if your region is rapidly descending into fascism. Star Fox Rokujuyon if the map will mark which missions players have cleared in past loops and whether they have discovered every possible outcome for those missions. There are no missions which can only be reached by certain teammates dying, so players are never forced to play poorly to experience every level. I propose an unlockable gallery for players that have collected all the medals in every mission. There, they'll be able to watch every cutscene and listen to every piece of comms dialogue in the game, even conversations that only occur after certain character deaths or mission failures that never happened during that specific player's time with the game. These will be marked with the conditions that have to be met for them to occur naturally during a playthrough. The assault on the portal takes place on day 14, or sooner if the player so chooses. If they fail, they are sent back to the branching point where the team debates the viability of the assault. Players can choose to attack the portal again right away, but without all the necessary intel on specialized enemies and the knowledge on how to destroy the reactor without it imploding and sending Fox back, they aren't likely to beat the game just yet. It'll be like how anyone can beat the Outer Wilds in 20 minutes right away, but the odds of them randomly doing exactly the right things in the right order are effectively zero. If a returning player clears the portal assault without casualties on the first attempt on a fresh save file, Nintendo blows 40% of the game's budget on licensing Won't Get Fooled Again as Fox winks at the camera before the credits roll. The team will learn about aspects of Aleatorian technology, culture, and history that will help them defeat the Armada. One of the last discoveries they are likely to make is that Aleatorians are actually Lylatians from a parallel dimension in which Andros had been ruling over the system for hundreds of years. The technology advanced massively, allowing them to travel to and conquer other dimensions' versions of Corneria, as Andros' thirst for revenge and power wasn't sated after just one. Using an offshoot of the dimension-hopping tech, the Armada is able to peer into other timelines to adjust their strategy before acting, effectively giving them a real-life undo turn button. This explains how they managed to adjust their defenses after the original assault on the portal, and hints that Fox might not actually be traveling back in time. He instead may have been leaving doomed timelines behind. Just a bit of depression sprinkled in. Welcome to my twisted mind. Dark aspects of Star Fox. James as Andros? I am done with Marsupilami! For now. When the player finally does figure everything out and Fox has beaten the final boss, he will have a moment of introspection. If any of his teammates have died, he'll reflect on them, maybe with some short flashbacks. The player then has the option to either destroy the reactor safely or cause it to implode again on purpose to revert the world to try and win without losing any teammates. Once the reactor goes down sans implosion, the credits roll with a recap of the current state of the world and the where are they now of all the characters. Where the characters end up depends on the exact path the player took through the game and the relationships between those characters. Of course, all missions players have seen can be replayed in a score attack mode. There, they can assemble their favorite little guys into a team and go wild. Once a player has completed a full 14-day run in story mode, they'll have enough missions of every difficulty level to do a classic play a bunch to get points run with levels selected at random from all available ones. Much like golf, for some reason, there will be options for a first week run, days 1 through 7, a second week run, days 8 through 14, or a full war run. Finally, once a player has played every mission in the game, they can lock in for a single life, no save scumming challenge run that uses the same adjacent planet rule as the story mode. This alone will be tricky to clear at all, but of course still features a continuous score counter for players who want to find the best route for a high score. So no open world, no skill points, no resource gathering, none of that AAA slop. Just a whole bunch of classic Star Fox gameplay recontextualized with a sprawling story. In Baldur's Gate 3, there were so many different paths players could go down that in 2024, the developers shared that one of the endings had at that time only been seen by 34 out of the millions of players. And Nintendo does not have to go that hard, but they can afford to go wild. If some of the situations players can get into are insane enough, this will make for incredible marketing. What do you mean there's an ending where Panther Caruso falls in love with Lucy Hare and they establish a private military company together? How in the world did that happen? Get players coming back hunting for more and more of these weird timelines. Keep them hooked. The solution is not to make Star Fox more like other AAA games. Take what we already love about Star Fox, the action, the characters, the branching paths, and crank them up to such a degree that even non-fans can't help but check it out. What do you think? Will we get a new Star Fox game ever again? If so, why not? This channel is dedicated to my special interests, so there will possibly be more videos about Star Fox, possibly Beyond Good and Evil, and almost certainly roguelike video games and tabletop RPGs. It's a weird combination, I know. I just don't like trains that much. I'm not like the other girls. Don't forget to do something kind for yourself, a loved one, and a stranger in any order you choose, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.